You have 24 hours every single day. The same 24 hours that every successful person in history has been given. The same 24 hours that decide whether you rise or whether you fall. The same 24 hours that either shape your destiny or keep you chained to your past. Right? Right now, you are holding in your hands the greatest currency in existence. It is not money. It is not fame. It is not connections. It is time. Time is the only thing you can never get back. Once a moment is gone, it is gone forever. And how you use your 24 hours will determine every result in your life, your health, your wealth, your relationships, your dreams. So ask yourself with honesty, how have you been using your time? Have you been investing it wisely or wasting it carelessly? Because your life is nothing more than the sum of how you spend your hours. Dr. Joe Dispenza teaches that your mind and your attention are the architects of your reality. Where you place your focus is where your energy flows, and where your energy flows is what you create. So if you want to use your 24 hours in the right way, you must first master your focus. Right? Every day you wake up with the same gift, a new opportunity to decide where your energy goes. If you spend your hours on distractions, your life becomes distraction. If you spend your hours on growth, your life becomes growth. If you spend your hours on creation, your life becomes creation. Time is like a canvas, and your thoughts are the brush. What you choose to paint each day becomes the picture of your future. And most people do not realize that they are painting unconsciously. They are living on autopilot, repeating the same thoughts, repeating the same habits, repeating the same emotions, and therefore creating the same results. To break free, you must awaken to your hours. You must realize that each hour is a seed. What you plant in that seed will grow. If you plant worry, you will harvest stress. If you plant laziness, you will harvest regret. If you plant discipline, you will harvest success. If you plant vision, you will harvest destiny. There are 24 seeds every single day. And the question is simple. What are you planting? The mind has the power to bend time. When you are lost in distractions, time disappears and you feel empty. When you are aligned with purpose, time expands and you feel alive. So your goal is not to manage time. Your goal is to master your state of being within time. This means beginning your day with awareness, not rushing, not reacting, but deciding consciously how you will direct your mind and energy. It means understanding that every choice matters. Every thought matters, every emotion matters, because they all take time from you or they all give life to you. The right use of 24 hours begins with clarity. If you do not know what matters, you will waste your hours on what does not matter. Clarity comes from silence, from vision, from choosing in advance the life you want to design, So before the world pulls you into noise, stop, breathe, decide. Where is my focus today? What is my energy serving today? Who am I becoming with every hour? This is not about doing more. This is about doing what matters most. This is about moving from unconscious living to conscious creation. This is about becoming the master of your day instead of being its servant. Dr. Joe Dispenza reminds us that the present moment is the point of power. When you truly live in the now, you step outside of the prison of past habits and future fears. You hold the brush in your hand and you can paint a new destiny. Hey! The only question is, how will you spend this day? How will you use these 24 hours? Because once they are gone forever. Every morning is a blank page. Every hour is an open doorway. Every decision is a seed. And the way you spend today will echo for the rest of your life. If you want to take control of your 24 hours, you must first take control of yourself. You cannot master time if you cannot master your mind. You cannot master hours if you cannot master focus. The truth is simple. Discipline is freedom. Structure is power. Awareness is the key. Every wasted hour is not just lost time. It is lost potential. It is lost energy. It is lost life. Right? So let us break down the path to using your 24 hours in the right way. The first step is intention. When you wake up, you must set an intention for your day, not a vague wish, but a clear decision. Decide who you will be, decide how you will feel, decide where your attention will go. Without intention, you are like a boat without a compass. You drift wherever the wind of distraction blows. But with intention, you are the captain of your ship. You steer your hours toward the life you desire. The second step is alignment. You cannot just think about your goals. You must feel them in your body. You must step into the state of being that matches your vision. If you want success, feel successful now. If you want health, feel strong now. If you want peace, feel grateful now. Your brain does not know the difference between a thought rehearsed in the mind and an experience lived in reality. So when you embody the feeling of your vision, you are training your body to become the future now. This is how you align your hours with the destiny you choose. The third step is attention. Guard it as your greatest treasure, because whatever holds your attention holds your life. If your attention is scattered across social media news, gossip, and endless night noise, then your energy is drained and your hours are stolen. But if your attention is directed toward growth, creation, and mastery, then your energy multiplies and your hours expand. The fourth step is execution. You cannot just think about your vision. You must act on it. You must take consistent, aligned action with full presence. Do not confuse motion with progress. Scrolling is motion, but not progress. Complaining is motion, but not progress. Only deliberate action in the direction of your vision is true progress. When you live with intention, alignment, attention, and execution, your 24 hours become sacred. They become a laboratory for transformation. They become a temple where you shape destiny. They become the ground where miracles can manifest. You now understand this. Most people are living in reaction. They wake up and immediately check their phones. They wake up and instantly relive yesterday. They repeat the same emotions. They repeat the same choices, and they repeat the same destiny. If you want to live differently, you must choose differently. You must break the cycle of autopilot. You must interrupt the program of your old self. You must become conscious of your habits, because every habit is a silent thief of your time or a faithful servant of your purpose. Ask yourself, is this thought serving my vision? Is this habit serving my future? Is this hour aligned with who I want to become? When the answer is no, have the courage to change immediately. Do not wait for tomorrow. Do not wait for the perfect moment. There is no perfect moment. There is no perfect moment. There is only now. Now is where power lives. Now is where transformation happens. Now is where you rewrite your story. Dr. Joe Dispenza teaches that your brain is like a record of the past. If you keep firing the same thoughts, you keep wiring the same reality. But when you shift your thoughts and feelings, you shift your brain and body into a new future. This means your 24 hours are not just passing moments. They are opportunities to rewire your mind and body for the destiny you desire. So do not underestimate a single hour. Do not underestimate a single choice. Do not underestimate a single thought, because they all add up. They all compound. They all create momentum, and momentum is everything. Momentum is the invisible force that carries you toward your vision. Momentum is the reason a small step today can change an entire life tomorrow. When you manage your 24 hours with intention, alignment, attention, and execution, you create unstoppable momentum. And once momentum is on your side, nothing can stop you. Your 24 hours are like a mirror. They reflect who you are becoming. They reflect what you value. They reflect the future you are building. If you spend your hours in fear, you build a life of fear. If you spend your hours in courage, you build a life of courage. If you spend your hours in growth, you build a life of growth. Right? So ask yourself every morning, who do I want to become today? What energy do I want to carry today? What future am I rehearsing with every thought and every action? Because you are never just living your day. You are always rehearsing your destiny. You are always preparing your body and mind for tomorrow. Okay, Dr. Joe Dispenza teaches that your personality creates your personal reality. Your thoughts, your feelings, your habits, your choices, they shape the life you live. Change your thoughts and you change your destiny. Change your feelings and you change your future. Change your habits and you change your entire identity. This is why the use of your 24 hours is not a small matter. It is the most important matter of your life. It is the difference between repeating the past or creating the future. Your brain is like fertile soil. Whatever seeds you plant in your hours will grow. If you plant negativity, you harvest struggle. If you plant discipline, you harvest strength. If you plant gratitude, you harvest abundance, and the harvest is inevitable because your subconscious mind records every choice, every thought, and every emotion. Right? So if you want a future of abundance, you must sow abundance into your hours now. If you want a future of health, you must sow discipline into your hours now. If you want a future of peace, you must sow gratitude into your hours now. The right use of time is not about being busy. It is about being intentional. It is about aligning your energy with the vision of your highest self. It is about refusing to give your attention to what drains you and choosing instead to give your attention to what builds you. Every single distraction has a cost. Every single wasted thought has a consequence. Every single emotional reaction steals a piece of your future. But every single focused action has a reward. Every single empowering thought builds momentum. Every single elevated emotion shapes your destiny. And also, discipline is not punishment. Discipline is liberation. Discipline frees you from regret. Discipline frees you from mediocrity. Discipline frees you from the prison of your old self. When you master discipline over your 24 hours, you are no longer a victim of time. You become a creator of time. You bend time with focus. You expand time with energy. You multiply time with clarity, and here's the truth. You already have all the time you need. The question is not, do you have enough time? The question is, what are you doing with the time you have? Most people wait for more time to appear. They say, I will start when I have time. But time never just appears. You must claim it. You must carve it. You must create it by removing what does not matter. Okay? When you eliminate what does not matter, you make room for what does matter. When you remove distraction, you make space for vision. When you silence noise, you make space for clarity. Right? So, your hours are sacred. Your energy is sacred. Your focus is sacred. Treat them as treasures. Guard them as if your life depends on them, because it does, So here is the challenge. From this moment forward, become radically conscious of your hours. Notice where your mind goes. Notice what habits repeat. Notice what energy you live in, and when you see yourself drifting into distraction, pause, breathe, return to your vision, return to the future you are creating, return to the highest version of yourself. Because you are not just managing time, you are shaping destiny. You are not just filling hours. You are creating identity. You are not just living a day. You are building a lifetime. Every hour is an opportunity to step into a new self. Every hour is an invitation to align with your vision. Every hour is a choice to repeat the past or design the future. And the power is always in your hands. The brush is always in your hands. Decision is always in your hands. Your 24 hours are a sacred cycle of life, death, and rebirth. When a day ends, it dies forever. When a new day begins, it is born fresh and pure. And when you awaken each morning, you are reborn with it, right? The question is whether you will carry the weight of yesterday into today, or whether you will create today as something new. Most people wake up as the same person they were yesterday. They repeat the same feelings, they repeat the same choices, and therefore they repeat the same results. But you do not have to repeat. You can renew, you can reinvent, you can rise every day as a greater version of yourself, Dr. Joe Dispenza reminds us that the present moment is the door to the unknown. It is the place where you can break free from the program of the past. It is the place where you can choose new thoughts. It is the place where you can choose new emotions. It is the place where you can choose new actions. Grow? No. So if you want to master your 24 hours, you must live in the present moment with full awareness, not in the prison of the past, not in the fear of the future, but here, now fully alive. Right? Every hour of your day is an altar of choice. On this altar, you either sacrifice your future by repeating the past, or you invest in your future by creating a new self. The choice is yours every single hour. When you live with awareness, you realize that your day is not happening to you. It is happening for you. It is happening through you. You are not the victim of time. You are the creator of time. This shift in perception changes everything. Suddenly, distractions lose their power. Suddenly, excuses dissolve. Suddenly, procrastination has no place in your life, because you understand that your hours are divine, they are gifts, they are opportunities, they are the building blocks of destiny. Sure. Now, hear this truth clearly. You do not get to choose how many days you will live, but you do get to choose how you will live each day. You do not get to control how much time you are given in life, but you do get to control how you use the time you have been given, and that is ultimate freedom. That is ultimate power. So how do you use your 24 hours with mastery? You live deliberately, you live consciously, you live with vision, you live with gratitude. Gratitude is the key that unlocks the energy of abundance in every hour. When you are grateful for your hours, they expand. When you are grateful for your energy, it multiplies. When you are grateful for your opportunities, they grow. Gratitude lifts you out of survival and into creation. Survival says, I never have enough time. Creation says, I have all the time I need. Survival says, I am running out of hours. Creation says, I am aligned with eternity. Kiddo? The more you practice gratitude, the more sacred your 24 hours become. They stop being a burden and start being a blessing. They stop being something you have to endure and start being something you get to experience. And when you combine gratitude with vision, you enter a state of power that most people never touch, a state where your hours are not wasted but invested, a state where your days are not repeated but designed, a state where your life is not accidental but intentional, right? Dr. Joe Dispenza teaches that elevated emotions and clear intentions create powerful outcomes. When you feel gratitude, joy, and love, while holding a clear vision, your energy becomes magnetic. You draw opportunities to you, you attract alignment, you accelerate results, So do not let your 24 hours be stolen by worry, stress, or distraction. Elevate your emotions, clarify your intentions, and live each hour as if it is the most important hour of your life. Because this hour is all you truly have. This hour is the point of creation. This hour is the seed of destiny. Guard it, honor it, use it wisely, And when you string together hours of clarity and hours of gratitude and hours of intention, you build days of power. When you build days of power, you build weeks of transformation. When you build weeks of transformation, you build months of mastery. And when you build months of mastery, you build a life of greatness, right? Your 24 hours are the foundation. What you build upon them is up to you.